Hi there. Book update. I've been renaming my videos. The music update has been changed. It's a new series. I'm going to give them numbers now. And at the end of the year, I can see for myself how many videos I've made in this update series. I'm going to do the same with the book series, which is this. We're doing books here. Um, I've changed the name here again. It was first called Sleaze Library, and then it was called just Book Updates, I guess. And now I'm just going to call it Bookworm. So this is the first Bookworm of the new series in 2014. I got a ton of books, so I'm going to go through them very, very quickly. First two books are pulp novels, the type that I featured mostly in the Sleaze Library series. This is The Saint Goes On by Leslie Charteris, or Chartaris, I don't know. It's part of the Saint series, which is this symbol, by the way. That's the Saint. It was a TV series in the 60s, a movie in the 90s, which was horrendous. But I like finding these. It's on my favorite publishing company called Pen. Love this, so I picked it up. Also picked up this Alfred Hitchcock's Behind the Death Ball. I love the drawing of Hitchcock playing pool. These are short stories written by a bunch of authors I have never heard of, but the cover is just really, really amazing. It's a drawing, so it's a lifelike drawing. Really like this style. The rest of the books I'm going to show you are majority is secondhand. There's like I guess three books that are new. Everything else is Goodwill, ranging from 50 cents to I guess €2.50. There's Dutch books in here. There's Dutch translations in here, but a lot of it is in English. First up, it's James Frey's My Friend Leonard. This was recommended to me, and I saw this Dutch edition, and I decided to pick it up. It has something to do with drugs and getting off drugs. I don't really know the story, but it was recommended. So this is interesting. Also picked up this. This is a Dutch edition of Don DeLillo's Mao 2, which, according to the story on the back, has nothing to do with Mao, the Chinese I don't know. English ain't my first language, people. So anyway, Don DeLillo, interesting writer. Try to pick up everything by him. Same goes for the next writer. This is J.G. Ballard's Cocaine Nights, a visionary tale of bored people. So this is interesting. His stories intrigue me a lot. Then we got this one. This is another Dutch translation. It's a thick book. This is called Slick by Daniel Price. It's about a publicity agent who gets a contract with a rapper, and he decides that the rapper who has got a bad reputation, that he wants to promote him by giving him an even worse reputation. So this is about the hip hop world and public relations. I picked up this Bret Easton Ellis's Lunar Park. I've had the Dutch edition. I've had a smaller paperback novel, paperback version of it, and now I have a large paperback version of it. I'm going to keep this until I find a hardback copy. Bret Easton Ellis, writer of American Psycho, another one of my favorite writers. So really happy to have found this. Here we got Banana Yoshimoto's Amorita. Banana Yoshimoto is a female Japanese writer, and I've heard her name dozens of times, but I never picked up any of her books. But I'm intrigued by Japanese literature, especially from the 70s, 80s, 90s, now. So, yeah, this is interesting. Then we got Dendy in the Underworld by Sebastian Horsley. Sebastian Horsley is a artist, a painter, I guess, or sculptor, or just artist. I don't really know the guy, but he's lived a life that is just freakishly unreal and revolting and sick and just, I don't know. Hope you can read it here. Makes Burroughs' naked lunch seem like a church fed. I am so that sold me. This was like 50 cents. The cover, I love it. And story about debauchery. I mean, another. That was nonfiction. This is also nonfiction. Riding High, Living Free. Story of Ralph Sonny Barger, I think. I don't know precisely if it is his story or he just tells little motorcycle stories. But he was the founder of the Hells Angels. It's written by Keith and Kent Zimmerman. So this looked interesting. Had to pick that up. Picked up Platform by Michel Houellebecq, writer of Atomized, avant terrible of the French literary scene, I believe. Lots of sex and violence and stuff like that. Always interesting. I love stories that are just on the edge of society. So this is a short story compilation called Stories. It's edited by Neil Gaiman and El Antonio. Picked it up because it's got a short story by Chuck Palahniuk, who I'm going to talk about later as well. He wrote Fight Club. Neil Gaiman writes some stories. Roddy Doyle. And a lot of people I don't know, but I'm really intrigued to see what these stories are all about. Then I picked up Henry Miller's Tropic of Capricorn, which has something to do with Tropic of Cancer that he wrote. I think this is from 1930 something. I don't know. It says copyright 1961, so it could be 1961. Anyway, Henry Miller, another writer I'm intrigued by. So I had to pick that up. Now on to a Belgian writer. Excuse me. It's that time of season again, coughing my lungs out. I don't care. This is a Belgian writer, Herman Brusselmans. Plotseling gebeurde niets. Suddenly nothing happened. It's a trilogy of books. If you can see it. Ex-writer, ex-lover, ex-drummer. I've translated it right away. Ex-drummer was turned into a movie. Look it up if you are willing to watch a movie that's just subversive and weird. This is my favorite Dutch language writer. He's hilarious, funny, yet his books never ever deal about something. It just goes nowhere, which is, I think, the most hilarious thing. You write a book expecting, the readers expect something to happen and nothing happens. You sorry. Here we have Pepijn Lane's Schömer. Pepijn Lane is a young Dutch writer who's actually better known as a MC in a hip hop crew called Jeugd van Tegenwoordig, or translated Youth of Today. I cannot translate that name because I don't know what it means in English. Short stories. I have not read any of these. This is a new book, by the way. I didn't pick this up at Goodwill. Same goes for this. Worst Person Ever by Douglas Coupland. Douglas Coupland, another of my favorite writers. And I just had to pick this up. Hardback edition. Released late last year. And I love Douglas Coupland. And then I already mentioned him. I hope you see this. Chuck Palahniuk's Doomed. It's a sequel to a story he wrote called Damned, about a young girl being stuck in hell. She's still in hell apparently, and she meets the devil, and it's sort of a. I mean, it's Chuck Palahniuk, so it's probably sick and twisted and weird, and I'm gonna love it. Doomed. It's gonna be a long video. I'm sorry about that, because I got another stack just like that. Picked up Henry VIII, Wolfman. Sort of Henry VIII's tale being retold with him as a werewolf. Looked intriguing. Some Dutch books. Baja Book. It's about people who work on ships that basically take sand from the ocean floor and basically move it towards land, so you can create new land. I.L. Pfeiffer wrote it. At the time, I've heard so much about this, so it's a book that stuck with me, and when I saw it at a Goodwill for €2, I had to pick it up. Then I also picked up Denvis, a rock novel by Leon Verdonkschot. He's a journalist, and he writes a story about a rock and roll artist, a pretty wild rock and roll artist. So that intrigued me. It's a thin little book, so gonna be fun. I showed My Friend Leonard by James Frey. This is the first book in that series. It's part of a series called A Million Little Pieces. Again, recommended to me. Dark and funny, apparently, according to the liner notes in the back. Interested. Here we got Dutch edition of Morven Kallar. Morven Kallar is a story about a girl who finds her boyfriend dead and decides to continue the party just with leaving him there. I've seen the movie, which had a lot of Aphex Twin music in it, which I really enjoyed. So I'm intrigued in the book version, the original version. I got 2 Stephen King novels. This is short stories. Everything's Eventual. Stephen King, I think everyone knows him. I also have, I think this is the 4th part of the Dark Tower series, Wizard and Glass, which was really funny. I found pretty beat, pretty beat paperback copy, and then the same Goodwill haul that I was looking at, I found a hardback copy. So, some Stephen King for my Stephen King collection. Island at the End of the World. which is from 2009. I loved the cover, the synopsis about people living on a deserted island. Sounded interesting, so it's by Sam Taylor. It looks really nice. It's on Faber and Faber. Oops. And like I said, the cover looks just amazing. A little bit like Tom York's cover of his LP. Picked up Annie van Keimeulen's bass. Bas, it says, but bas is that thing, that's a bass. It's about a jazz lover. And my girlfriend, she loves jazz music, so when I saw this, I had to pick it up. Bass. Another J.G. Ballard novel. This is Crash, the Dutch edition again. You don't find these in Goodwill in Holland in English. I found this in Dutch, so I had to pick it up. This is it's got the cover of the movie by David Cronenberg. It's about people who have a fetish for car crashes and sex. That's in short what it's about. A classic. This is Brighton Rock by Graham Greene, a crime novel from the 30s, I think. It was turned into a movie in the 40s. Then another classic one, Erik op het kleine insectenboek, Eric or the Little Insect Book by Godfrey Bomans. This is a children's story. It's really, really thin, about a kid who accidentally wanders into a painting of a nature scene, and he meets insects and animals. And it's a really nice children's story. Picked up the Dutch edition of Steppenwolf by Herman Hesse. This has been mentioned a lot. I think Zach mentioned it. Maybe Henry to the Boy Ellis talked about it. Yeah, I'm really, really intrigued to read this. Then we got Dimitri Verhulst, Helaasheid der Dinge. I don't know what it translates to perfectly, but apparently this is even funnier and odder than Herman Brusselman's books. So yeah, you have to read this. Two more, and then I'm done. Under 20 minutes. This is Rapture by David Sosnowski, about a disease that catches drug dealers. They turn blue and grow wings and become angels. That's basically what it's about. That intrigued me, so I have to read it. And the last one is a novel by, I think he's pretty well known, Kinky Friedman. It's called Spanking Watson. Kinky Friedman is a, I don't know what he is precisely. He's a comedian, I guess, as well. Writer, and he writes crime stories. I don't know what to expect here, but it says here a hip hybrid of Groucho Marx and Sam Spade, so it's funny and it's crime, so we'll see. That is my update. This has been collecting dust actually since November. I've been keeping it here, waiting to do a video. I've done it now, so next updates won't be this long. Take care. Hope to see you soon. Peace.